this needs to be done somewhat carefully, and also, favoring a long-term relationship for your suppliers, right? So, I used to work in procurement. I definitely, recognize that as the market changes, it's important to make sure that your business is protected. Um, so first of all, there are some, and again, this needs to be done carefully and it needs to be done by the book. But one thing that I've seen work for companies is that if the supplier is, besides just lowering cost in order to help you on tariffs, right? There are also ways to shift costs accordingly, right? So, for example, right, if right now they're building all of their profit margin into the units that they're selling you, right, and they're upcharging, let's say they're making a 30 or 40% margin, um, but they there are, right, if tariffs then go up, then that you're very much exposed to your price going up. Hypothetically, they could take some of that margin out of the per unit and shift it to, let's say some of the overhead that went into them selling you their product, right? So it could be design services, it could be consultation, logistics coordination. Meaning, if right now a company is charging all of the your cost in the product itself, that cost is subject to tariff. But if they break up those costs, and then they're still, again, they can't, it's not like they could say, oh yeah, we're just going to give away the product for free and then charge everything as overhead with no tariff. It still has to be done properly and by the book. But talk with the supplier to find out if there are ways that you could take some of that cost out of the product itself and into some of the associated overhead from that supplier. And then in effect, you could be paying less per unit and then therefore paying lower tariffs, but the supplier is not necessarily losing money, if they need it in order to run their business. So, that's definitely a big kind of lever that I see businesses successfully pulling for renegotiation. But again, make sure it's done carefully, because it can land in hot water if there's anything done under the not by the book.